But do I actually miss school, or do I just want to wear cute outfits? My birthday's in a month. I'll be turning 24. Life update. I've been regressing lately. Like deep regressing. Like I'm coping with the fact that we did not have a summer in Montreal. It was like 20 degrees and rain for the entire summer. For those who don't know about Montreal, it's a nice, city. We have schools, great schools, and food, lots of food, and streets, lots of streets. And did I mention the snow? There's no beach. It's not a beach town. It's a city, cold city. For that class today, I'll be reading my notes because I didn't study hard enough. So for my little presentation, I'll need my little notes here. I'm so messed up. Instead of writing like left to right like any normal person, I decided to write here, then here, then here, then here. Ask me why. Don't ask me why. I don't know. So to cope with all that seasonal SAD, disorder, depression, then I have to kind of like create a fantasy world where I am the main character, obviously. Not that I'm not the main character of my own life. I'm clearly like delusional, but I still exist in my own life. I've been more main character-ish in the past few years because I was more out there. But since I got engaged, obviously I stay home and I'm with someone, so it's not like I can be like the main character anymore. No, I don't even believe that anyone gossips about me anymore, which feels weird. It feels a little bit weird. That's one of the reasons why I'm talking about this, because I'm considering going back. Anyways, we'll get to it eventually. So lately I've been thinking of going back to school. There you go. It's written here. Because I'm basically a cute little dropped out. I don't recall exactly what I wrote because I wrote this down when I woke up and then did some sport, took a shower, washed my hair, put a little cute cardigan on, and I started recording that. So I haven't read my own little presentation before presenting it. Anyways, so I'm basically a cute little dropped out. Although I don't regret leaving when I did because it was really unhealthy for me at the time. Quick pause, Cégep. So now I just have to quickly explain what Cégep is. I dropped out when I was turning 20, like 3 months before COVID started. So it ended up being a great timing to quit because it would have been impossible for me to keep that whole Zoom, attending school and everything. It would have worked out for me because half of the reason why I go to school is to go and show off my outfits. If you ever had a Zoom with me, I'm so sorry because I'm so messy. I'll start doing my abs. Messy. Anyways, quick pause. What is Cégep? So it's basically the transition between high school and university. I believe that in the States there's something called college that is kind of the same thing. But here we created that little bridge between high school and university to make sure that people wouldn't drop out, because in the 70s in Quebec, where the Cégep exists, there were lots of dropouts that would stop their studies in high school and never went back to school. So that would, it was kind of to force having bigger brains in the population to have a higher salary, to have a better economy, yada yada yada. You get it. So I tried Cégep and it was not for me because it basically keeps you at that weird place when you're trying to figure out where you want to go. And I guess it works for some people who wants to like smoke WEED and just I'm not sure which word I can and cannot say on YouTube, so I'll just that ganja. So I was already off with the whole like smoking and everything. I was already done with it. So when I arrived in Cégep, I was really not cool. I was like in my grandma era at 18-year-old, and I was over that like party and everything. I've been through like really down that path, and I realized very quickly that it was not for me. So I was kind of like discovering what sober is, and like I'm no longer sober. Like I'm able to find a middle ground where I'm just gonna put my ring on and be back. Phew, feel better now. So I found my ground to like where can I stand between, like I was never addicted to anything, but clearly I was hanging out with the wrong people, and it made me quickly judgmental to like if other people would still do it in the way that I was doing it. It's just like, it made me cringe, not because of them, but because it reminded me of a phase of my life. So anyways, I clearly didn't have my place in Cégep, where the point is to waste your time exploring stuff, discovering, the whole youth liberty, you're 18, kind of thing. And I didn't have that calling of like self-destruction anymore. So I was like, why am I here? And the studying part for the actual school part, it was really demotivating because they didn't push me enough. They would take points away from my grades when I would over search the subject. I was not studying real science or maths. I was in human sciences and like politics. And whenever I would do like extra study for like the exams and everything, but it was no longer in the books of the school. I would watch documentaries and stuff like that and came up with new additional information about the topic, like wars and everything, dates and everything. They would take away points because they considered it off topic, because it was not on their agenda. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I went above the topic and I went double down on the research and everything to have extra points, and you're taking them away from me because it's not on your bucket list of stuff that I'll be graded on. But you're just discouraging me right now to even be here. Anyways, I was consulting a woman that is supposed to keep me in school and everything. I was crying in her office every day because I was so discouraged, and people hated me there because I was a bimbo, still am. But I discovered my femininity basically in Cégep around that time, not because of Cégep, but because I was 18 and I became a woman. And I could have been when I was 14, but it took me a long journey to get there. Anyways, that's for another video where I achieved my femininity. Anyways, being woman's plan in Cégep by other women that I was brainwashed and basically stupid and indoctrinated by men because I was shaving my legs, and they were like, you don't even know what you're doing, you don't even know why you're doing, you shouldn't do it. I was like, girl, I don't mind if you don't do it. I don't even shave all my legs, like half of it here, there's a little hair everywhere. And if a man tells me, ew, I'll be like, you're a man, already, period, ew. So anyways, it's not about like, are men brainwashing me or anything. I just don't like when people tell me what to do. Especially when you're 18 in Cégep and there's that little like tomboy girl that comes to you and is like, you shouldn't do this. I'm like, girl, have I asked you anything? Did I ask for this? It was basically like, unsolicited opinion. She was woman-splaining me about how I couldn't think for myself because men would like force these ideas in my brain because patriarchy and everything. Don't get me started here. Anyways, where was I? In the meantime, so I dropped out. I was crying, and even I don't know how it's called in English, but it's basically someone who's paid by the school to keep you in school and stop you from dropping out. And even her, she was like, I can't do anything for you anymore. Leave. I'm not supposed to tell you that, but drop out. Sign the paper and leave. I signed it and I left. I passed my final exams. I had okay grades. Like, I'm not a bad student, but I was just depressed. I wouldn't laugh, I wouldn't smile, I had no friends, I had no partner, I had nothing in my life at that moment. And I was overall really sad. And I would work all the weekends to have some money, and as a waitress in a cute cafe, but and I was seeing people there. That was the only time where I had like nice interactions with people. So these times were like great times for me because otherwise, I was really alone. I was discovering my neighborhood, which is like the best neighborhood to live in my city, probably in Canada. And I was discovering, what living was and going out at the cafe and meeting people, but it was mostly men, because I was single at the time. And I was really unaware of how quick your reputation can fall apart when men are too close to you, because I'm a nice person. If you talk to me, I'll respond, unless I'm like very busy, but I'll still be like, hey, sorry, but I'm busy right now, thanks, bye. But I'm not the kind of girl who like looks down at others. I just say hi, I engage conversation and everything. Anyways, just by being nice and a bimbo, people assume that I was a and that I was sleeping with all these men. So at 20-year-old, I had like a bad reputation. Even mothers will start spreading rumors about me because I don't know, their husband looked at me or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, that's for another video. That's why I mentioned like ex-melon hit girl. I did not lie. So I dropped out and in the meantime, I tried theater school, but I always had a hard time filling in, even with the freaks, especially with the freaks, because when you don't have the casting of a, weirdo, freak, all these words that we use to describe like people that don't fit in, I wrote it down here, the misfits. I have a hard time fitting in. Honestly, finding myself as a woman and a woman that wants to have a child made me able to see a box where I can fit in, because it's comfortable to know where you belong and to know that you belong somewhere. You don't have to always be in the box, but you have to be able to know that you have that comfort zone, that you belong somewhere. It's not fun to always feel like you have to be different all the time and you're playing an act all the time. And lots of people in theater school are like that, which I enjoy personally because I'm an extroverted and I love to speak and I'm a very expressive person. But I don't fit in. I don't fit in because I choose to wear pink and I choose to wear feminine and wear heels. And they were all like, why are you wearing heels? Aren't they uncomfortable? And I was like, I don't know. You get used to it. Like, I love how I look with heels and it makes me feel happy. Do you have a problem with my happiness? Where did I miss a step here? Anyways, people are usually, like, especially in the art industry and everything, everybody wants to show how different they are. And I guess that in today's world, everybody's trying to look different, going against their nature. Me going with my nature makes it look like I'm not trying enough to be different. But I used to try so hard. I would wear my father's pants with paint on it and wrap it up with a big belt and wear Doc Martens. And I was like, yeah, but it didn't make me happier. And wearing a cute little cardigan here with my pajama makes me feel happier. It does. It's just for me, it worked out. Anyway, so here again, didn't fit in with the freaks and it made me really depressed because I really wanted to do theater. I want to do acting and it's still a goal. No, I can't say a goal because I'm not putting any effort in that. So I cannot say it's a goal because I've started doing other things, which let's get down to it because we're already 14 minutes in. So I didn't fit in. I tried it, almost got into theater school because basically there's two big theater school in Canada. Sorry, my nose is a bit stuck. C'est bloqué. Anyways. So how it works to get into the theater school, because it took me like a year and a half in the past few years to try to get in because it's a huge process. There's basically two main schools, the Conservatory and the National Theatre School of Canada. They're both in Montreal and I applied to both, and there's lots of like auditions. So I never done theater before because I went to a public school and we didn't even have enough dictionary and chairs in our classroom. So forget about art. We didn't have that luxury at all. There's around 1,000 people that tried the first audition, male and female, and there was basically they'll take 5 of both genders at the end of the process of audition. So you present a play, and I was doing private coaching at the same time because I needed to catch up for like the 21st years of my life that I never did theater and catch up in a year, because I was facing people that's been doing theater for like, you know, since they were 10 and everything, so I had to catch up a lot. And so the first audition cuts it right away to 100, then to 50, then to 20 people, so there's 10 boys and 10 girls, and at the end they'll only take 10. So they're gonna create a cohort of basically 5 women and 5 men. So I made it to the final stage of like being 20 and 10, and then we had to be there in the school for a week and they would test our abilities and everything. The 10 people that they were gonna keep, it was mostly based because everybody was talented. I was surrounded by like artists and people that were actually good at it. I'm not at all like saying like, oh, they were freaks and I was better. Absolutely not. Like, these people were talented and it felt so good to be in a place where I wanted to be, because I never had that feeling, you know, to be in a place where I wanted to be actually. So it felt really good to be somewhere where I put in so much effort and it was paying off because I was getting there in the school. But they take the 10 people, not exactly out of talent, because as I just said, everybody's talented, but they really take the 10 people that can get along for 3 years, because for 3 years you stay with those 9 other human beings that you have to stay close to and be friends and play with and not date. And you have to be really close with, and I can't even begin to think how much drama that includes, because, you know, it's a drama school. Duh, of course, like with all those big personalities, and I don't know, we just had a party at the end of like the little auditions and everything, where we were all at the park, and like, it was messy. So I can't even begin to think how it would have been for 3 years. So they refused me. They refused me, and anyways, it was during like the beginning of COVID, and I couldn't have attended the school because I refused to have so they would have refused me anyways. They would have kicked me out of the school. So I don't know how to translate that, but it's a bad for a good kind of thing. It's like destiny, basically. Hallelujah. I would have wasted even more time with this, but I still regret it. It still makes me sad when I think of it. So I didn't do anything. I didn't stop living when I quit school. I started like, you know, having plans and trying to achieve some stuff and stay close to my main goal, which was to become an actress and everything. But COVID happened at the same time, and the entire art industry crashed. Like there was nothing to do, and the vaccination and the QR codes and everything. So I was really like pushed on the side of society, and I was isolated and everything. So I started writing, because I was like, what can I do if I'm alone in my room crying every night? And I was like, wow, I'll use all that misery to be able to write. Clever girl here. So I didn't go back to school. I just started writing a poetry book with my closest friend. He's an illustrator, and I'm writing the poem. So we will be coming up with a poetry book if it can get published this year. So our goal is really like by 2024 to have it like finished, because we're still in the process of the whole art process basically. You can go follow the Instagram if you want to. But if you don't, I'll just talk about it sometimes here, because we're self-promoting here. I tried to attend also a private writing school, screenwriting school. And they said no education required, you just need to be passionate. I was like, yay, that's me. I'm so passionate and I want to learn how to write scripts, because that's another goal of mine, writing my own roles. I'm that obnoxious. I can't stop moving, so I'm like giggling around. I'm a little bit ADHD. So where was I? The screenwriting school, and they refused me because I had no education. I was like, girl, like, what are you saying? It's either you have experience or you're passionate, and I'm passionate, but if I had experience / if my parents work in the industry and give me some gig as a screenwriter, I wouldn't be here trying to like beg you to let me in your school where I have to pay 15 grand for private education. Anyways, it was kind of messed up. I still want to reapply one day, maybe when I'll have experience. Ask me how, I don't know. Anyways, it's really confusing, and that's why I wanted to do a little video here about like where I am in my life, because I feel like it confuses lots of people. Me first. I'm still very confused about like where do I stand, on which feet do I dance, and these kind of thing, because it is confusing to be a hot girl in 2023. What do I want? Do I want to be a housewife, but I don't really like to cook and clean? Or do I want to be a boss lady, but I don't really like to grind? And you know, I'm a Gen Z. I don't like to work. I'm like the problem in this generation. I mean, I like to work. Don't get me wrong. I'm a hardworking person. Whenever I'm passionate, I like to work. Want to do stuff that are not accessible for me, because I was not born like, I don't know, Lily Rose Depp or Bella Hadid. So I cannot do easily stuff, and I don't want to work hard for them. Okay, I said it. I don't want to work hard to, and like, you know, risk my dignity for that. No, she has too much ego here. I don't want to risk my dignity to become who I want to become, because the industry is dirty. It's gonna like they expect you, if you're not born with a silver spoon in your mouth, they expect you to crawl and to beg and to be a whore. And I'm not. I have too much dignity, I'm sorry. I refuse to think that this is what I was born for, to start begging people to give me opportunity. Like, if you can't see the potential, that's too bad for you, babe. That's too bad for you. I'll just have babies and raise my babies, and they'll be cute. So, I tried to remember where was I? But I'm already thinking what I can do next, because it's very hard getting along with society when you have no diploma. So, I am thinking of going back to school sometimes. Often I have a conversation with my fiance, and I'm like asking for his opinion. He went to in university, he has a good job because of that and everything. And it's always kind of embarrassing when people ask you, what do you do? And I'm like, just living. People are like, what? I'm able to like reply to this because I know what I'm doing. I'm not doing nothing. I'm busy on a day-to-day. I could be busier for sure. My entire life depends on my level of motivation. It's how much am I willing to achieve today, because no one is forcing me to, and I love that, because I'm able to have so much security in my life, because my partner is very supportive of all the silly stuff I start doing, just like that channel. And I still have to be, nobody's forcing me right now to be here and talk to the camera, but I know I have to, because I need to create some content, because I love doing this. And I want to be able to share stuff with you, although it's like really hard right now to know what I'm doing, but that doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. So, Am I really going back to school to study journalism? Because that's another thing that passionates me. I mentioned that I was in Cégep initially studying politics, but it didn't push it harder. Like after a year and a half of school, if you haven't shown me the political acts when you show me left and right, how are we supposed, where are we going? It's been a year and a half, and you don't even teach us yet what is the left and what is the right. I value study, I value school, I value having a degree and everything, and I'm considering studying journalism because talking is what I do, and observing and criticizing is what I do too. So, basically journalism. No, but I really want to get involved in politics. Like, all jokes aside, it's really something that passionates me. I want to be able to change some things in this world. I feel like everybody should have that calling, or at the very least, get out of the way of people who have it. And I want to be a part of something bigger than just my little existence and being able to help and bring awareness at the very least. So that can be, let me know in the comment section down below if you have any topics you want me to address. I don't want to start getting in that hot water too fast here because I'm still trying to build something with the beginning of my channel. So don't get me canceled right now, basically. Feel free to interact in the comment section. I'm thinking sometimes of going back to school, but there's two reasons why I would get back to school, is to actually get a degree and be paid for that degree, and have a career kind of thing. Or am I only going back, would I go back to school only to wear outfits? I'm that toxic. I'm that silly. I'm like, am I gonna pay that much money to go sit in a classroom and try to impress people that are already younger than me? Like, there's no competitions anymore. I could be your mother. Like, there's no competition anymore. And I'm still me in my little head, in my little world, trying to think like, oh, I'm Rory Gilmore, I'm going to university. Like, no, I'm not 17 anymore. I need to move on. I'm a woman now. I'm getting married. I'll have kids tomorrow. Like, I'm exhausting. I'm exhausted. Sarah, I just have my hair in my face and I'm trying to remove them. That's how I do my hair anyways, pretty much. I don't know. I know it's obvious that you should go back to school to study something, but I still don't know the real reason where I would go. I always told myself that the beauty of school is always being able to get back to it, to go back to school. And it's totally valid, my grandma went back to school when she was 60 or 50, I forgot. But anyways, there's never a moment when you cannot get back to school. It's open to everyone, especially here in Quebec. If there's a good thing about this system here, is that we have schools and they're cheap and they're accessible and they probably won't refuse you. We have great, education system overall compared to other places. Like, I wouldn't want to be in the US. You have better education in the US, but oh my, do you just get in debt for that? Here we don't get in debt that much. It's really cheaper. But still, am I gonna waste so much money that I could spend on outfits, try to slay some outfits in those universities? I don't think so, but right now would be, if I was to go back to school for a good reason, like actually educating myself more than just slaying all the time,